Hi guys, and welcome back to the world of 28mm. Okay, today's episode we're going to carry on from last week's episode, and we're going to keep along the lines of trees. So I've been making a board for an up and coming show, a local show, and I'm running a test of honour table, so I'm making a Japanese board. There'll be build logs and everything up and coming for that. But today I thought we'd work on some cherry blossoms, some sakura. No, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Some cherry blossoms. Okay, so yeah, let's head down to the table and we'll crack on. Okay guys, so first things first. What I've got here is a Woodland Scenics, I think it's from the Deciduous Green set, armature. Okay, and we're just going to bend this about so that we can create a canopy. Now, when you look at cherry blossoms, when they're in full bloom, they tend to have quite a large canopy over the top. I guess that's what you call it. But basically, there's loads of blossoms on the top, and then they come down, cascade down to the side. So we're just going to make a basic shape on this one to be able to support a decent canopy. So pull those down. There. Okay, oh, get that in shot. There you go. Okay, so once you've got that and you're happy with the shape of it, we're going to take some wire wool next, and this is just going to build the substructure for the actual foliage itself. So, and when you use this, you can pick this up from any hardware store. By the way, it's cheap as chips, and you get a huge roll of it for a few quid. So now we only need a tiny bit. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this apart really thinly, and the important part is to create the negative space in the tree. So if you have a tree and it's just all pure foliage, it won't look very realistic. So what we want to do is create that negative space by pulling this really thin. Okay, there's other techniques as well, which will come in a minute, that will follow the same rule. So you see how thin I've got that? I might even tease that out a little bit further, but just tease it out so it's very thin, and there's no sort of clumps of it, so to speak. So you can see how thin that is. Okay, and we're just going to take that and we're going to lay it over the top here. And like I say, spread it out nice and thinly, distribute it between the branches. Pull that bit out a little bit more, I think. Just tease it out. Be very gentle with it when you're doing it, because you don't want to sort of tear it, because then you have to put some more on and get it into the right shape and whatnot. Okay, so there's our first bit. Now you can see there already that we've got some negative space in between, basically empty space within all of this sort of what will be foliage. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the footage there, and I'm going to create the entire canopy, and I'm basically going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to put it across this way this time, so that it should create a nice surface for you to put some foliage on. Okay, so I'll get on with that, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so there we have our wired substructure. Okay, so you can see how, especially there, I've got a lot of negative space where there is nothing, and it's harder to make out at the minute, but there are sort of holes in there and things like that, and that's very important when you're doing, so I'm trying to get it in frame, when you're doing sort of realistic trees. So next step is we just want to take this shine away from the wire wool. Okay, so what I've got here, I'm not going to do this inside, I've got that coffee spray that I used for the bottle brush trees. So I'm just going to give this a very light mist. Okay, now when you do this, this is another important step for the realism, is that you hold your tree, okay, I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm in frame, but hold it at full arm's length away from you, okay, and then position this quite close to your chest, and then just lightly mist it. It's really important that you don't douse it, because you'll end up with beads and things like that of paint that it just won't look right even when you cover them up. Okay, so hold the spray close to your chest, hold the tree at arm's length, and just lightly mist it. Okay, and you only have to do that once, maybe twice. Alright, so I'll go outside quickly and get that done. I would have done it outside, but it's absolutely wrenching it down, so I'll just quickly do this outside, and I'll see when it's done. Right, so that's that done. I don't know if you can see on my hand there, that will give you an idea of how lightly I misted it. I didn't put any gloves on, but all up here is just a light mist, and you'll see what effect that has. So you can see it's taken the shine off of the wire wall. My backlighting is no longer making it dazzle. Alright, so next bit, once again I'm going to do this outside, but I'm going to use that fast tack spray that I used in the bottle brush episode. I'm just going to give it another light coat. Now this will work on the same principle as doing your spray, so hold this at your chest and hold the tree at arm's length again. It's very important, same as the spray is, because if you cover the whole thing and completely douse it, you'll end up with just one giant canopy and it won't look very realistic. So a very light spray of this. You don't need a lot anyway. Okay, so I'll go and get that done, and I'll see you in a sec. Right, we've got a good coverage. I don't know if you can see the white sheen to that, but we've got a very light coverage on there. Like I say, just missed it. Okay, so to left here I've got some mid-green leaves. These are made by Knock. Okay, and these, although you don't see a lot of foliage when a cherry blossom is in full bloom, you don't see a lot of actual green on it. But because this is scaled down, we need to add some green just to break up that pink a bit. You'll end up with a very pink blob otherwise. Another way to do this would be to get some white foam and mix it in with the pink, and then give both colours a thing on, and then you won't have to worry about the green. You just need to break up that pink with something. Right, so I'm going to take my mid-green leaves, and we're just going to lightly sprinkle some of these on, because as I say, cherry blossoms don't actually, when they're in full bloom, they don't have a lot of greenery on them. So we're just going to go very lightly, dropping it from high up, and we're going to create spots. Okay, so we'll put one there. Let's see if I can get this in shot, sorry. So I'm still getting used to these angles. Put a little bit up there, and a little bit on the side here. And a little bit there. There. So I've just picked out a few spots to put some green foliage on. You can see how bare that is. And like I said, it's just to break up that pink. Alright, so we'll put that to one side. Now to create your actual blossoms, so I've got some pink foam. Now you can get this from World War Scenics, and they basically do a flower set, and it comes with 4 different coloured foams, a bit of PVA glue and a little brush. I can't remember how much it is, I think it's about £8 or something. But these are really handy to have. If you can get this just as it is, brilliant, but this is how I obtained it, is by buying that pack, and I've now got a bag of blue, a bag of yellow, this pink one, and another colour which I can't quite recall. Okay, so we're going to take some of this, and once again from a height, we're just going to sprinkle some on. So I'll bring it into there. Now it's important at this stage, because this is just layer 1, okay? It's very important to just get the fine stuff, the fine pink foam down on it. If you get any big pieces, then just flick them off or pick them off or something. But we just, because this is the first layer, we just want to thin. There, see, I've got a big clump of it there that's not going on. That's going back on the table. Okay, so we'll just put some more on there. And yeah, like I say, what we're basically going to do is build up the layers. We're going to make sure we've got a nice bit of fine pink foliage and some green. And then we're going to hit it with some more spray. Oh, see, right, like that. Oh, I can't get it off now. There. We don't want big clumps like that. We can have them later on. Put them to one side and save them. Coverage over the top there. Okay, so you can now see it starting to take shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and hit it with that blue tack fast tack which I've left by the door. I'm going to hit it with that again, okay, but leave it a minute just to let all this, the stuff that you've put on, settle. Okay, so I'll be back in a sec when I've hit it again with another load. Alright, that sounded really dodgy. I'll come back when it's glued up. I'll see you in a sec. So I've given it a second coat of glue now, and then we're just going to repeat the process that we did in the first place. We're just going to drop on some for the knock mid-green leaves. Don't put them in the same place that you put them the first time. Put them somewhere different. So you don't want to create any spots specifically, hot spots should I say. A few more on there. A little bit down here. Okay, that'll do for the knock, or for the leaves should I say. And then we're going to come in with another round of pink foam. Okay, and you don't have to worry as much as the first time. Just get your required coverage, however you've got it imagined in your head, or the picture that you've got referenced. That's the best way to go, is get yourself a few pictures and find yourself which ones you like, and then model it that way. As you can see, I'm starting to go a bit heavier now with this pink. We're going to bring those blossoms to life. Right, and then just a little bit, cover up those armatures underneath. So it's alright if you go heavy at the top, because if you look at, once again, go to pictures, you'll see at the peak of the tree it is very, very, very bushy with blooms. So you're not too worried about the top. Well, there, get that in frame, bring it a bit closer. Gonna focus. There. Okay, and there's your cherry blossom. Okay, it's simple as that. Some wire wool, brown spray, some spray adhesive, and then some leaves and some pink foam. Okay, so I will put up some pictures for you to have a look. Oh, actually, wait, before I do, now I've got another few trees that I've made to go with before this one, and I need to basically go through them all with my airbrush, and I'm just going to seal it with PVA and water. Now the reason why we do this is that Bostik tacky glue, it does stay tacky. So if you seal it with some watered down PVA, let that dry, all of this will go, or the foam and the foliage will go rock solid, and it will take away that, it will stop being tacky, and you won't find every time you try and pick it up it will stick to your hand or something like that. Alright, so don't forget to, if you haven't got an airbrush, go and check out the Terrain Tutor's channel. He did a thing on sealing with watered down PVA. But you can use a spray gun as well, like say a disinfectant spray bottle. If you've got an empty one of those, fill that up with some PVA and water. I have an airbrush, so I'm going to do it that way. Alright, so I'll put up some pictures, and this time I'll see you in the outro. Okay, see you in a sec. And there you have it, guys. There's some lovely cherry blossoms for your battle board. Get my words out. As you saw in the pictures, I based them up. I just used a bit of 1mm MDF that I had spare from a MDF kit, and just flopped it up and make it look a bit prettier. You can also blend the, which I've yet to do, blend the trees into the base by just putting a bit of flock around the trunk and things. If you're not making 28mm like I am, all you have to do is change the gauge of the trees. So you can see in the pictures I made quite a small one, and that was from I don't know train scales, but the smallest one I think is, no, I'm not even going to hazard a guess, I don't know, but the smaller ones you can use probably for 6mm. I've gone for the larger deciduous green tree armatures because they look right for 28mm. Okay, so that's it for this week. Yep, that's it for this week. Alright, so the usuals for the video. Like it if you like it, share if you think anyone else would like to see it. Don't forget to subscribe for the next episode. And don't forget to check out Facebook. Alright, catch you next week.